Happy Saturday morning, everybody. It's Avalon. Today I want to talk to you guys about old behaviors. And what I mean by old behaviors are, a lot of us, when we're out there in our addiction, we're running amok, doing whatever we feel like doing, saying whatever we feel like saying. Our actions are just out there. We don't have any control of our emotions or our actions, and we're just off the hook. I was never taught healthy coping skills. I wasn't allowed to voice my opinion, my hurt, my fear. I had to keep it all inside. And so when I got older and I became an adult, I just started releasing it on everybody because I could. And it was, I had so much of it. I had a boyfriend once, I think I was around 19. We dated for 3 years. And the first year was great. Then I found out he was cheating on me. And so I remember this one time, we were in a fight and out in his barn. He had a barn. And luckily it was the fall because he had one of those thick plaid lined jackets on. And when we were standing there fighting, I had glanced over, and there was a box cutter. I picked that box cutter up, and I went right down the front of him and cut his coat open because I was off the hook with my emotions. I could not control them. And if he hadn't had that coat on, who knows what would have happened. I mean, I jumped we got in a fight the one time and we were driving in a van. It was snowing. There was snow on the ground. I got mad and I opened up that van door and I jumped out of a moving van, people. Crazy. I was insanity. And those kind of things. So I threw things. Throwing things is one of my biggest things. I haven't done it in quite a while. Every once in a while I'll relapse on it. But I try to keep that under control. I threw plates of food. I threw glasses of... yeah. And so... now, in recovery, I am really practicing not going back to those old behaviors, changing those things in myself, pausing when I am agitated, pausing when I want to just throw something, when I feel the emotion coming on, that I check myself and I don't allow myself to cross that line. Okay, last night, my upstairs neighbor, she is like 40, but she acts like she's 12. And she stays up all night. I think I know why, maybe. She's probably, who stays up all night? Just doing all kinds of crazy things, like banging, slamming, dropping shit on the floor. My landlord has talked to her about it, and now it's starting back up again. And so I took my walking stick and I tapped on the ceiling 3 times. That was about 10:30 last night. And I didn't do it loudly. I wasn't in a state of rage. I just tap, tap, tap. Well, she immediately bang, bang, banged back and then started up and down the hallway, banging and stomping and slamming and dropping what sounded like frickin' bowling balls all night. I had to put my headphones on and plug it into my phone and put it on Spotify on my box fan playlist, and turn it loud. And I still didn't sleep. I didn't get hardly any sleep because she took what I did and just all night long just paid me back. And my first instinct is, I need to get back at her. I need to have revenge on her. I need to slash her tires. I need to key her car. I need to put sugar in her gas tank or water. You know, those instantaneous first thought, wrong thought type thing. And so this morning, even Bernie said, why don't we put a radio out in the front hallway by her door? Because now that she's trying to sleep. And I'm like, no, Bernie, because I can't start that revenge stuff. Because for me, that's a dangerous place. If I allow myself to start taking revenge, it's a slippery slope for me. I've got to be careful because I have violent tendencies. I have tendencies that could get me in trouble, that could hurt somebody. I can't start that. And so, you know, I'm in recovery. Those are the things that we have to change. Just putting down the substance is just the beginning. Next comes changing thought patterns and pausing and not acting out of anger, acting out of revenge, and controlling ourselves and growing up emotionally and mentally. Growing up and maturing. I wasn't taught how to control my emotions. I wasn't raised. I was survival mode my whole entire childhood and teenage years. Just surviving and not being able, I was kept in such a prison that I just released when I got on my own. And there, you know, luckily my children, when I didn't abuse them, my children were my everything. I didn't realize I could love another human being as much as I love my children, and they brought out the best in me. And but after they grew up and then my addiction had started, I was out there doing anything. I mean, I remember my daughter called me and said that this girl was harassing her and that she was hiding in this house because the girl was out in the street wanting to beat her up. My daughter was probably like 13 or 14, somewhere around there. I had this big long stick, this big long thick hardwood stick. I grabbed that stick, I jumped in the car, and I headed my ass over there. I got out, and the girl was sitting on a porch. And I walked up to her with that stick, and I was like, you lay a hand on my daughter, I will bust your brains in. They'll be scattered all over the frickin' road. I mean, I was screaming with that stick. And craziness. Yes, I want to stick up for my daughter and I want to protect my daughter, but I don't have to go acting like a freaking gangster in the street, you know, ready to bash someone's brains in. No wonder I didn't end up in prison for murder, for Christ's sake, all the things that I did, you know? And so for me, I need to really keep my emotions in check. I cannot allow old behaviors to come back in, even in the least little bit. And so when whatever the old behavior is, that's, you know, whether it's hanging around people that we know we shouldn't hang around and that are still using, or that want us to use, who, you know, oh, come on, you know, you can have one, or you can do this. Old, you know, we as addicts and alcoholics have to separate ourselves from that kind of thing. And we have to be vigilant in not slipping back into old behaviors. And, you know, if we slip, we get back up, we try again. And because it's so important. All right. So please, if you haven't already, thumbs up the video and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. You're amazing. Have a great Saturday. Brightest blessings and Goddess bless.